gotta turn my bitch up, turn my bitch up, turn my bitch.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Hannah B and welcome back to my channel. This setup is a little different. I am going to move y'all back a little bit more. Don't want to give y'all too much. Okay, so this setup is a little different. My vanity is right here. This is my mirror right here. It's just a wall because I wanted to, like, you know, give y'all something, like video of like more substance. I got notes. Okay, this video has been coming for a long time. Okay, if you were on my channel in 2019 and 2020 during the pandemic, I did a lot of story times because they were mostly about surviving. They were mostly about surviving the things that I have been through in Atlanta. And I know that I have kind of given like some stories. Like I've told y'all like the most entertaining stories, but like there's so much other stuff that has happened. And a lot of me even coming back to YouTube after I left Atlanta was to have this video diary so that I could remember the things that I had been through, because I've really been like on a journey to try to eliminate the memory of a lot of the events that happened in ATL. So much so that I completely like scalped myself bald, got rid of over a year, maybe about a year and a half worth of like brand new beautiful natural hair. I've thrown away a lot of clothes. My car was in the shop for like 2 months. Like, I have tried to really cleanse myself of the things that happened in Atlanta for a lot of reasons. And like, even when I was posting those videos, you know, I was still kind of in contact and everything would be perfect and great. And oh, I support you and I watch your videos, I'm subscribed to your channel. It would go from that to, I can't believe you posted this video or told this story and I'm upset, and people are calling me and telling me that Hannah hasn't made a video and it's not true, and you know, and I'm just like, nobody is calling you and telling you shit. Nobody's doing that. You want to know why I know? Because the only other third party involved in most of that stuff, like, I haven't been wrong so far, to be honest. I haven't been wrong. And if anything, more stuff has come out. Stuff still continues to come out about like just me being in that space and like feelings and emotions associated with that space and me and whatever. So I have for a long time been wanting to film a video. I don't even know what I would call it. Like, I am not a professional. I don't have the right to diagnose anybody, but if I had to give a diagnosis, it would probably be narcissism, because it just makes sense. So I have a list, and this is not the first time I have wrote this out. I have wrote this out a million times. I have wanted to save this stuff on the internet for I don't know how many years. Like, this is like the most condensed version of like actual events that make sense to say, because I want this to be one video. It might not be one video if y'all have questions or want me to elaborate on things, but it might not be one video. I can't even say that like, oh, I was young and dumb and all this other stuff. I was 24. I had just turned 24 when a lot of this stuff took place. 25 to 26. Okay, I wasn't that young or that dumb. There are instances that I have to take responsibility for, and I totally do. There are things that I should not have done. Maybe there are things I shouldn't have said. What is it? Is this something in my vibe? Yeah, see that? That's just the light. Okay, there are things that I shouldn't have done. There are maybe things I shouldn't have said. And the biggest one of all is like, at any point in time I could have walked away. let's get straight into it. I 100% believe I was in an abusive relationship with a narcissist. Emotionally abusive, physically abusive, sometimes mentally abusive, like anything that could be done to humble me or keep me under control, keep me under wraps, keep me humbled, whatever. Anything that could be done or said to me, I feel like was done or said. And let me rephrase relationship, because this is a conversation that like keeps happening, but I wasn't in a relationship. I was in a relationship by the definition of the word, because we were living in the same space. We were living in the same space, sharing everything. My money was his money, his money was my money. Like we were supposed to be friends, but it obviously evolved into something else. We initially were only supposed to be friends with benefits, that were supposed to be open, honest, and transparent about what we were doing. And that just, you know, I'm a girl that know a lot of stuff. And people get around me and hear me talk, and they realize that like, oh, she's not just a sheltered, you know, girly from the north side, from the northeast side at that, went to all the white schools, went to the private schools, whatever. Like, I know people, I'm connected, I know stuff, you know. And when people get around me, I turn into an asset. And even when in this situation, I was an asset 3-4 different ways. Because of finances, because of mobility, like I was an asset. And our first major fight was in less than 24 hours of us getting to the city. I ain't gonna say major fight, but fight where I knew like, okay, this guy may be a little nuts. Because be real, I know you need me. Like, you can't move around how you want to without me. So I know you need me, but that ain't got shit to do with me. And so we had a huge fight, maybe 24 hours to get into the city, maybe 48 hours. And he would not let me leave. I'm talking about took my keys. I was trying to throw my shit in the car. As soon as I would get my shit downstairs, he would take it out the car and put it back in the house. Like, it was a lot. I took all his stuff out of the car. Like, I'm leaving your stuff here. You have a couple more days left in this Airbnb. You will be fine. I'm taking my shit and I'm going back home, because I know I can do that. Had never driven 6 hours before by myself, like none of that. But I was convinced that I was going home. And he took my keys, wouldn't let me go outside, was blocking entrances. Like, it was nuts, okay? And you know what you do and this went on for like hours. I was leaving, period. This went on for hours. Of course, I didn't like text anybody and tell them, oh, I'm coming home, or fuck this dude or anything like that. It was like, I'm leaving. And then he wouldn't let me leave. And I said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to wait till the morning. I'm going to sleep on it. I'm not going to feel different, but I'll wait. I got up. I waited. All that shit went out the window, because people know what to say and do to keep you on the hook. So, yeah. Another reason I believe that I was with a narcissist, I don't know, because he always used to clock me on how I said that word, so I don't even know how you're supposed to say it. Was that he was a huge love bomber. Okay, this is a man that did not want to work, didn't like, never had any money or whatever, but when he was up and he needed you, or when he was up and he felt a certain way, like you were on the verge of discontinuing your connection with him, immediately it was, she can have it her way. The biggest incident of this was in 2018. I went home. I left work at like 5 in the morning, got on the road, went home, changed just enough time to make it to my little cousin's probate. And there was a boy there, you know, and this was not a boy that we didn't know about, to be frank, because remember, we're not together. And I was always honest and open. I was always honest and open, and from the very beginning I was just like, this is a dude that I'm feeling. He don't live here no more, so it's not that big of a deal, but if he's in town, I'm probably gonna spend time with him. Like, y'all, I'm saying this man will have an attitude if he caught me texting this boy, like anything, and I would be like, we're not together, so what is the issue? And that turned into a whole something else. And then his immediate response whenever I was on his ass about anything was, we're not together. And I'd be like, okay, well, act like it. Anyways, this boy was there. Me and this boy met up and, you know, did what we had to do. You feel me? I came home, home being Atlanta. He found out about it. It was right before my birthday. This was March. My birthday is in April. And he was pissed. He was pissed. Okay. You know, I kind of just let that go over my head. I was at work when he found out. And so I was like, I don't have the energy for this. So I let it go over my head. I still wasn't thinking much of it. I didn't give the situation much energy until one night he came home drunk as I don't know what, and it was just like apology central. It was, what could I have done to make you do this, or why not me, or why don't you want to, you know what I'm saying, like, why can't you be down for me, and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And I was just like, we're not supposed to be in a relationship, and we're also not supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, like, it's not supposed to be any feelings, like, it's supposed to be strictly no strings attached. And also, we are roommates, if I can say that, because whole entire time he fucking everybody in Atlanta. If you are a girl with big titties and no ass, he's fucking you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he was into. And so, you know, I can't say anything about what you're doing, but if I do what I want to do, and I'm honest and transparent with you about, like, the fact that, like, you know, this person is going to be a reoccurring character in my life, period, be real. So that's like, after the apology phase, that's immediately when, like, the love bombing started. I'm in my head, I'm thinking, okay, my birthday is coming up. He hasn't made me any promises or whatever. I'm working. And the next thing I know, maybe a week before my birthday, it is like, what do you want? I'm getting this from you. Let's go shopping. The whole entire week of my birthday, it was a different place every night. We partying, we clubbing, we going out to eat at expensive restaurants. It's all of the above. And so, of course, if you make a girl feel special, what is she going to do? Feel special. I didn't know that this was a strategy, you know what I'm saying, that they use. But it was definitely that. Flowers, designer, the whole 9 yards. It was definitely that. And it would go from that to the rug being snatched out immediately from underneath me. Like, not talking to me, not dealing with me, not coming home, not nothing. And the only reason I was always so concerned about, like, whereabouts and stuff like that is because, yeah, your brother out here, but your brother don't really mess with you like that. So it's really just me and you. And your mama got my number. And I'm older than you. So anytime something is going on, guess who was calling me? Your mom. If I can't tell her where her son is, it's a problem. But whatever. So yeah, the love bombing was nuts. He also used to use sex as a weapon with me, like, all the time. Like, it was literally, give it to me, or cold shoulder, silent treatment, not helping you with bills, like, not doing nothing, no obligations still. Like, there was no business that was stood on, like, at all. It was, give me some, or I'm leaving, or give me some, or it's like this, or, you know, I don't think we should be dealing with each other like that. We're not. There's supposed to be no feelings. You're the only one here with feelings, if you feel me, of that nature. And so when there was no sex involved, there was no cooperation, period. None. I'm talking about can't get picked up from work in my truck, can't get picked up from work, can't have groceries, dog can't get dog food, bills can't get paid, rent can't get paid, I don't want to be around you, don't ask me for nothing. Like, when there was no sex, there was no cooperation. And it was always like in between. So he would start off really high, right? Like love bombing, all of that. The love bombing would turn into like backhanded compliments or him just being absolutely rude as fuck, okay? So it would be love bombing, and then he would be rude as hell, especially if we had company. He was rude as fuck in front of company all the time, to the point where like I don't have relationships with people because of how rude he was. And he would say things to me like, there's this one time we were out with some of my friends having a great time. I was having a great time dealing with them. I wouldn't have a great time dealing with him, but having a great time that night. Went all over the city, strip clubs, out to eat, whatever. And he said, I said something to him that was like very obviously a joke. And I wasn't even really joking on him, you know what I'm saying? But it was very obviously a joke. We were in the car. It had just got done. I think it had just got done raining. I don't know. It was a spring-ish night, summer night. I think this happened in like June, May or June. And he says to me something about my hearing. He was like, basically along the lines of, that's why you can't hear anyway. That's why you're deaf now, or something like that. And it was so left field that the whole entire car was like, because if you know, you know, like I'm hearing deficient, like a motherfucker, like 10 points from being legally deaf. And that broke me. That broke me. You know what I'm saying? I was having a great night and I'm getting emotional. But that really did broke me. Like, that hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, hurt my feelings in a completely different way. Like on some like high school bully type shit. Like, that hurt my feelings. That was a very ugly thing to say to me. And once we all got home, again, it was, well, I thought we were all having a good time tonight. I'm trying to see if I can. And I was like, no. This man got so mad that he would not sleep in the bed. He was also very drunk, but he was so mad that he would not sleep in the bed like a normal person. He piled up all his clothes and slept on the floor with a pillow, and fully clothed, slept on the floor with a pillow. It was just like, that's why I'm leaving. I'm moving out with so-and-so. Like, I can't wait to get out of here, whoop-de-whoop, all this type of shit. And I'm just like, you're gonna leave me to move into a house with a nigga to go fuck all your bad built bitch friends? Okay, go off. And I was just like, I really don't understand why you're acting like this, because you were really rude and ugly to me tonight. And I shut down. Like, that spot, we were leaving the spot, going to another spot. In between that spot and that spot, like, I was quiet. I shut down. I wasn't interacting with the group no more, none of that. And he was just like, you're the reason everybody's having a bad time. No, I'm not. The fuck? I'm not the reason. So yeah, love bombing, kind of little attitude, a little backhandedness, and then immediately that turned into, give me some pussy. If I can't have it, then you can't have anything. You can't have any peace. There was no peace. On top of the fact that, and again, no empathy, no sympathy, no nothing. Like, it was, everything that came out of his mouth was very matter of fact. And there would be times when we would get into it and then we would make up the next day and he would be like, yeah, I said this, but it hurt me to say it, or I didn't want to say that, or I was wrong for saying that. Listen, in true Aries form, I don't apologize for anything I ever said to that man. Because everything I said was true, and none of it was rooted in hate or anger or disdain or nothing. It was just shit that he needed to hear. Okay? Everything I've ever said to him was true. Never said it from a mean or hurtful place. It's just that this is how you got it out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like blurting out an admission. And of course, those were issues. Another thing he always did to try to humble me was complain about money. because like he would work, then he would get fired from a job, or would quit or something like that. Well, he only ever had one job the whole entire time I was dealing with him. I lied, he had 2 jobs. He quit the other job. And technically got fired from the other job for stealing. He got caught stealing. And was making good money. And was making his bonuses and everything. So like, I don't know why he was stealing so much. But money was always a way that he thought that he could humble me. And so when I was always working, it was, oh, you make money, or you're making money, so you think you're better than everybody else. That was like a reoccurring theme, was you think you're better than me because you have a job. And I would always say that is an asinine ass statement for you to say, because even though I'm working, I'm paying all the fucking bills. Like what? I'm paying all the bills. He paid one bill one time, and it literally was because I would not pay it. No. Okay, this is edited me coming from the future. I also want to add that during this time I was like shelling out money to Mississippi. I was paying my rent, which was $900. I was paying my car note. I was paying my mom's car note. My car note was $300. My mom's car note was almost $600. I was paying the house note at my house, at my mom's house in Mississippi, which was about $500 or $600 a month. I was paying my bills. Okay, I had the internet turned off, so he couldn't stay at my house all day, but I was still paying electric. I was still paying gas. I was still paying to put gas in my car. I was paying to stock my house with groceries. I had a dog. Okay, so all of those are bills that have accumulated. And this is in reference to the last screenshot that I showed you, where he fussing at me for only having $300. And y'all, this man, the last 2 or 3 months that we were in this situation with the fucked up money order that he never took accountability for, he was mad at me because I did not have money. Like, I did not have the type of money that I needed to go towards my own rent. Like, yes, my mom paid my rent that month when she mentions, but she paid it on a maxed out credit card. You feel me? Like, my rent maxed out that credit card. So it was just a lot. Like, he was always fussing about me not having money, but like, he never had money to contribute. So whatever he's doing to fix it, he wasn't fixing it. Nobody in the house was paying it. This was when we lived in Mechanicsville. Nobody in the house was paying it. I'm definitely not gonna pay it. The bill ended up being $500 fucking dollars. It was a $500 light bill, and we figured it out before the lights got cut off. But most of that was indeed his money that went into that. Okay, yeah, it's me again. So, to add on to this story about Mechanicsville, we also need to understand that this man is the reason that we got evicted from that apartment. There were 4 people living in that apartment, and he literally took all the rent money and just fucking balled out. Like, granted, it was his birthday, and he kept saying, oh, I'm just gonna pay the rent with the next check. Sweetie, we don't have, like, we've already been served the eviction notice, and it's been over 30 days. Nobody's going to court. We ain't did nothing. We ain't talked to nobody. We ain't asked for nothing, because you're taking the eviction notices down off the door. So like, everybody else who lives here doesn't even know that we're in this much shit until they come knock on the door and tell us to get our shit out. Like, that's like, you stole everybody's rent money. And I guess I should have realized that. But like, at that time, that's not what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it felt. Somebody else promised to pay the rent. They couldn't do it. They let us know in enough time that they could not pay the full rent, which was over $1,200. And then everybody else was thinking, okay, we'll just all give our money to one person so that he can go pay the rent, because he has more flexibility than the rest of us to go get the money order to pay the rent. And instead, he was pocketing the money. So, yeah. But he would always say, oh, you think you're better than me because you're making money. Me making my own money was an issue for him. At one point in time, when I was working with Hookah Angels and I'm using all real names because when I was working with Hookah Angels and Justin, who was the owner or was the owner, I don't know where Justin is, but he was the owner of Hookah Angels. And in the very beginning, he was like, hey, I need an assistant, and I know you have clerical and operations experience, because I did. I used to work for the state of Mississippi. And so I was like, yeah, I can help you. You know what I'm saying? Just teach me what to do. What's the program you're using? What to do? And that's what he did. And like almost in no time, I was over there a lot. And he was a very small business. I feel like I helped build it, no cap. But we were very small. We had a handful of locations, and most of the locations were just dropping off hookah supplies. But hookah catering wasn't a thing yet. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody hookah caters, but back then nobody was doing it. And so his whole thing was like, I'm doing hookah catering. It's literally only like, at that point in time, it was only one other company that did hookah catering in Atlanta, and they were 2 Black women. And so, boom, that I know of. Disclaimer, that I know of. And so, boom, we're doing the hookah catering shit. I'm like legit a manager. I'm going from spot to spot. And whenever I was working in the capacity of his assistant, I got paid $15 an hour. And me, I'm a bitch that's gonna try to ride that shit out all motherfucking day. So I would like leave in the afternoon, and I would be with Justin all day, because one, we have to go through all these spots. I'm doing all these invoices. We writing checks. I'm dropping money off. I'm making sure people got uniforms. I'm going to the store to pick up uniforms, going to the store to pick up the uniforms that were pressed. Like, I'm doing a lot of fucking work. Okay. And I was making $15 an hour on top of doing regular hookah service. So I was still working. I was working 7 days a week. I would do like most of the week as his assistant. So like maybe Monday through Thursday, I was his assistant. And then over the weekend, I was doing hookah service. I got paid $15 an hour to do clerical assistant stuff. And then I got paid $10 an hour to be a hookah girl plus tips. So when I would get paid on Monday or Sunday, my check used to be $500, $600, $700. And even though I would be going from sun up to sundown working, this man thought that I was having some type of sexual relationship with my boss. And back then, you know, I was a cute little petite girl, you know, you feel me? But one, Justin was not my type. No shade. Like, I loved working for him. I really did. He took really good care of us as hookah girls, you know what I'm saying? But you know, there were just moments where I would just be like, this guy is absolutely nuts. As I'm sure like any person does with any employer that they have. And those moments where like one particular moment, there was a hurricane that happened. I don't remember the name. This was 2000. This is still 2017. Over like summer into fall, there was a hurricane, and they left me in an apartment with a guy who potentially, I'm gonna say it, to me he was a rapist, because if you bring bitches over and deliberately get them drunk to fuck them to make it easy for you, you're a rapist. And like some of these girls were like really young, and you were like much older than me. Anyways, he would leave me in that situation, in this apartment with this man who would always be saying weird and creepy shit to me. And so whenever Justin called, I was gone, okay? And he lived down the street and didn't mind coming to pick me up. I was out of there. So on the day of the hurricane, Justin came, got me from the apartment because I was left there by myself again. And I spent the whole day with him. And he was like, I'll pay you. Simple. We balanced all the books. Another girl came over. Her name is Yasmin. She's really cool. She's like Canadian. And me, him, and Yasmin stayed over there through the hurricane the whole day. We had Chinese food. We ate real good. The power didn't go out. We watched a couple of documentaries on Netflix. We smoked hookah. We tried new hookah flavors because he was working on some custom blends. Like, we stayed over there and worked throughout the entirety of the hurricane. And I made, okay? And he paid us. The man's nuts because he paid us. And the guy, my abuser, was just like, you know, apparently he was real broke down about that. And I don't think he was broke down about the fact that for this particular incident, I don't think he was broke down about the fact that I was gone somewhere and was making money. I think he was broke down about the fact he would literally always make comments alluding to the fact that he thought I was having sex with Justin. Like, he would say things like, I don't really like you having to be over here all day, and I don't like what you're doing, but you know, I understand you making money and you doing what you gotta do. Like, stuff like that. Like, always, and like his body language, and like he would just be so uncomfortable. Like, it was always alluding to the fact that he was saying and thinking that I was doing it with this man. Oh my God, y'all. That in his head, I was having sex with this man, and I wasn't. And because of the control thing, it was like me and only me. But yeah, it was just weird. Like, he hated it. He hated the whole entire time I was a hoop girl, but I was making hella money. I was paying $12.50, $12.40, something like that. That's how much our rent cost. I was paying electric, you know what I'm saying, putting gas in the car, feeding people. Like, I was making good money doing that shit. And niggas was a hater. I don't know. Niggas was just hating. But I made great money doing that. And it was always, oh, you think you're better than everybody because you're making all this money. And I'm like, no, I'm literally just trying to survive. And another issue I had with that was like, you say all these things, give me all these compliments or whatever, and then turn around and say these other statements that make me believe that you don't think that I'm capable of working that hard, or I'm smart enough to do the type of work that I'm doing. You feel me? And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the amount of stealing and acting like it was nothing. Now, I don't necessarily count this as him being a narcissist, but there was lots of stealing going on. He literally stole my car. He stole my car and went out of state, and then stole my car on several other occasions. There were times I had to go steal my car back. Okay, like, got dropped off in the middle of the night with my homegirls and my spare key to go get my fucking truck. Stole my car. Because I worked in a heavily cash industry, I would come home and put my cash in my room, in my makeup room, because remember the closet with the tiles on the floor? That was my makeup room. Because I felt like I just needed more space in my bedroom. So I moved all my makeup stuff in there, and I had the pink pineapple candle. It's my favorite candle the Bath & Body Works ever released. I burned it all the way to the nothing. And that's where I used to keep my money. And to me, I was hiding it because it was in a drawer, tucked away. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're going through my stuff, you wouldn't know. With the lid on top of it at that. Unless you're going through my stuff, you wouldn't know that there's something in there. And he would go in there and take money out. And see, here's the other thing. Because I worked in the cash industry, I used to come home and write down all my tips in my notebook. So I knew how much money I was making every day. Every day I knew how much money I was making. I knew what I was adding to, subtracting from, all of that, because I used to write it all down. And so I would go, and the money wouldn't add up. I done worked a 10-hour shift at Hooters or a 12-hour shift at Pizza Bar, and my money not adding up. Crazy. So he would steal money out of that. He would take money out of my wallet, like straight up took, like, the time that I confronted him about taking the money out of my wallet, he was like, oh yeah, I meant to put it back before you ever noticed. But me knowing him was like, you were what? Like, you're not working, you don't have a means of income. How are you going to put $80 back? On top of the fact that $80 was what I needed to pay the light bill. Like, it was the last piece of money that I needed to pay the light bill. The only reason I even left my wallet at home that day was because we just got rid of a thief at my place of work. So at this particular point in time, we trying to figure out who the person actually stealing was. So our manager just like, leave everything at home or leave it in the car. I left it at home because I thought it would be safe in my fucking house. I was wrong. was stealing money out of my wallet, was stealing money out of the car and make me think I'm crazy. Because bad idea, I know, but at some points in time, I used to keep money in the car. When I get off work, I just put it in the armrest and lock the truck and go upstairs. Money would be missing out of the car. There were a lot of things that came up missing out of the car, but I think it was more so because he had bitches in the car and he didn't want them to know that he had a girl's car. Two of the biggest ones for me was when I was at work at Pearl Lounge, being a hookah girl for Hookah Angels. It was during the day. It was like a Thursday or something like that. It was early during the day, and this was like within my first couple of weeks working. And he basically said, hey, I'm going to this restaurant next door to get something to eat. Can I use your debit card? And I knew how much money I had on my card. I only had like maybe $60 on the card. We was broke. And I said, okay, sure. This was like in the very beginning when I didn't 100% know he was like this. Like, nobody told me he stole money, you know? And so I said, sure. So I give him the card. He's like, I'm next door. I'll just bring it to you when you leave. And it's cool. So I go next door. So he goes next door. He sits on the patio, which is across from our patio. Our patio was covered, but his patio was open, but all the windows were open on our patio. It's hard to explain. And so I can hear him and a group of females kikiing. And so I'm like, okay, it's a lot of stuff coming to the table. It's hookahs coming to the table. It's rounds and rounds of drinks coming to the table. It's food coming to the table, all of this. And so I'm like, I trust him. You know what I'm saying? He's probably not going to do me that dirty. You feel me? I go to, I think, order something and like pay with my Cash App or something like that, and it declines. And I'm like, I know it's enough money on the card for this. And also in my head, I'm like, well, let me hurry up and get something before he check out. I look at my Regions account and tell me why it was like $4 stuff on my card. I was pissed. I was like literally distraught, like crying in public. It was very slow. Nobody was back there. And I texted him and I was like, how could you do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, now I can't eat. And I know you can't eat because you ain't got no money. So how am I going to eat? You know what I'm saying? And he was like LOLing it off and stuff like that. And that just really pissed me the fuck off. No cap. Because I was just like, you have no regard. You do not care. You don't care what happened to me. Like, I'm the breadwinner in this situation and you don't give a damn. And that's so wild to me. You know what I'm saying? I really don't remember what happened after that. I do know I did end up like eating, but I think I had to like borrow some money from my mom or something. I don't know. Because I was just like, this is nuts. So there was that. And also the fact that the main reason I even had to move back to Jackson was because he stole my rent money. Like, straight up just fucking took it. You know what I'm saying? So again, me being trusting, I'm like, okay, I am going to, he's like, I'm gonna help you out. Because he would have these moments where he'd be sensible and be like, I'm gonna help you out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to work. I need a money order so I can pay the rent. I'm gonna go get the money order. I went, I got the money order. It's blank. And I'm like, hey, I have the money order for the rent. I can't take it to the lease office right now because I gotta go to work. Can you drop it off? He said, yeah. Just hold on to it, yeah. More so hold on to it, but yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go pay the rent. I'm like, interesting. He goes, gets a fraudulent money order that he made with his scamming friends. Side note, terrible scammer, still a terrible scammer. And then he goes and drops it off in the leasing office. This is like September or October, somewhere in there. So I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, I paid the rent, don't worry about it. Go cash your money order out. So I'm like, okay. I go all the way to Jackson because we ended up going for homecoming. And it is I had like a little money. I had a credit card that my mom gave me that I was able to put gas on that card, and that was how I put gas on in the car. He didn't leave when I was ready to leave, so that pushed my schedule back tremendously, even though for days I was saying we're gonna leave at this time. We ended up leaving during very bad weather, which if we had left when I wanted to leave, we would not have been in the bad weather. And we got into a physical altercation in the car on the way back to Mississippi. Anyways, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna go take the money order to the bank once we get to Jackson. I did that. It took a couple days for the money to come in, like 24 hours, I think. That's cool. Did that. No problem. Did that. Now I'm pulling money out. And it's more so like, oh, we can have this money. We can share this money. We can do whatever to this money. And in my head, I'm like, the rent's paid. Everything's fine. So the next 2 months go by. And I'm paying rent, right? And then, well, that's October. November goes by, I pay rent. December pops up. And they basically added October's rent onto December's rent. And I was like, this is impossible. They don't take partial payments. They don't do payment plans. How am I going to come up with this money? I'm talking to him and I'm like, what happened with the money order? What happened with the money order? What's going on with the money order? I thought you paid the rent. What's going on with the money order? And he's like, I did. Maybe they can't read it. Do all this type of shit. So I'm like, the money order was fake. So they're like, oh, come to the office so we can talk to you. And I'm like, cool. I go to the office and they're basically like, well, you have to pay all the money up front or, you know, it's just going to get worse. It got worse because I couldn't pay that much. Like, there was no physical, like, it was impossible. By the time I wait enough tables to make the rent, it's the next month. You feel me? So I'm like, okay, this is a real fucked up situation. He doesn't have any money to contribute to this situation. He can't help me. I gave him hella opportunities to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can like just pay me, like figure out how to get me some money. Like, pay me some of this. I don't care if you gotta rob, steal, kill, whatever. Figure out how to give me some money. Figure it out. Figure out how to give me some money. And it didn't work out. Went to court, all that. Ended up having to leave my apartment. Boo-hoo cried. Like, furniture set. I had to leave it behind. I had to leave back like $500 worth of fucking pots and pans. I truly do believe he broke my TV. Couches. Like, it, again, broke me to have to do that. And we left there, went to another apartment, and I left him at that apartment, leaving there, and I went to go stay with one of my friends before I ended up just coming back to Jackson. And I stayed with her for like a month and a half. And honestly, throughout all of that, the only thing, like, he never said sorry. He never apologized for that situation. I overheard him on the phone saying, yeah, like that, like, it broke me to hear her cry like that. And like, that was it. You know, years go by, or a year or so goes by. I'm in a way better situation, moving back home or whatever. He's, even to this day, basically still homeless, independent. And there were lots and lots and lots of apologies. Oh, I'm sorry. And I look back and I said things and I let stuff turn into things that it shouldn't have been, and whoop-de-woo and all this type of stuff. But like, there's no real change behavior. Like, everything that he was doing to me, he doing to the next girl with an asterisk. And the asterisk is, she got it like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have it like that. So he ain't depleting her funds, but he going through them. You feel me? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I left. I came home. I cried about it. I went to therapy. I dated around. You know what I'm saying? And life for me has been so much better. And I feel like the reason life has been so much better for me is because even throughout most of that bullshit, I was always continuously like genuinely coming from places of like love and like pushing love out and trying to be happy and being considerate and like a whole bunch of other things. Because if we go out on a limb together, we are responsible for each other. That's how I feel. If we a team, we're gonna act like a team. I'm gonna always treat you like my teammate, even when you don't treat me like yours. And I feel like that what really kind of like helps me to be able to move on from the situation, because I was good. I was real good to that man. I was real good to that man in a sense of like being an accountable teammate. And I didn't get that back. And that's not my fault. I cannot hold myself accountable for how people treat me when I know I've done everything right, or many things right, or as close to right as possible, you know? So, but that's it for this video. It is 46 minutes long as of right now. I'm gonna try my best to like cut it down, but it's still gonna be in the 40 something minute range, no cap. But yeah, that's it for this video. I just wanted to share that with y'all because it's something that I've been holding on to for a long time, and I'm probably gonna have more videos about other situations that have been very interesting in my life. So yeah, let me know if you like this video, you like videos like this. Let me know down below in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all forms social media at Hannah Brunell W, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.
That savage love you, girl. You know that savage love you.